How many times in your life do you think you might have had a different outcome, a different set of results, or just a different way of being altogether resulting from something if you simply had more structure and order in your process? If you were able to kind of dial in your process a little bit more beforehand to make sure you proved sure in certain ways. Like you got a certain outcome because you made sure of it, and your process made sure of that. Guys, I'm gonna be here talking about this good stuff all day. I hope you have an amazing day, by the way. But what I really want you to think about is something that I've had to come to know in my own way for several years now, and it's not something that comes easy at times, but it is something that makes a lot of sense. It is something that when you adapt and really make sure you have, your life looks different. You have a different feeling of life. You're not as stressed and worried about the certain little things that you can't control, simply because you're controlling what you can control. Now, this concept is relatively basic, but it's something that we all need to think about in here. It's something most of us need to attack the opposite of in our life. Like many of us have the opposite of this in our life, and it shows, right? Or we have this in a negative way. We don't even realize we have this towards something that we don't want to be in our life. And what's the point of that? Why be consistently creating the same situations in your life if you don't even like that situation? If that situation isn't even desirable in the way that you're searching and wanting to create your life around, right? So order and structure. What does that mean, first of all? Well, order is like 1, 2, 3. It's like this goes in this order because it makes sense. If it doesn't go in this order and it gets out of whack, bad things happen. It's not as simple. It's not as straightforward, right? Structure, same thing. We want to build it from the bottom up. We want to build it strong at the bottom and strong at the top. But if we don't build it strong at the bottom, it can't be strong at the top, right? If these basic concepts need to be built into the way that we operate altogether. And it takes time, don't get me wrong. I grew up in a household that was pretty chaotic in most ways. There was not much order or structure to the different. I mean, there was in a lot of ways, don't get me wrong, it could be 100 times worse. But in a lot of ways, there was a lack of order and structure between my parents and the way they did things. It is what it is. Me and my wife are not far from perfect. We have many things to work on when it comes to creating order and structure for our child. But it is that realization of that makes the difference. And that willingness to accept that there could be a different possible order and structure, for lack of better words in this example, to create a better situation. Right? Because with anything, we want to be on the same page, right? With any sort of team goal, with any sort of action being taken towards a goal, you want there to be clear, concise communication that helps one another get to there, that helps one another understand what the mission is, understand what we're trying to do here, and stay on the same page, right? If we don't know that, then our order's out of whack. We're building on a very shaky foundation, and it probably won't lead to the best outcome, right? So communication is one of those key factors. Another key factor is just overall organization. Being able to stay organized rather than everything being a mess. When everything's a mess, well, you get messy results, right? Our mind does well when there's order and structure, not cluttered up chaos. Because when there's cluttered up chaos, our mind is thinking about all the things that are cluttered up, typically. Now, there are some exceptions, of course, but for most people, cluttered up messes with everything in disarray, they just cause more confusion in the moment. They cause more visual clutter, and it drains your energy subconsciously, even if you're not realizing, right? So you keep a clean room. Jordan Peterson talks about that. Clean your room, right? You keep a clean desk. You keep a clean sheet of paper. You keep a clean mental state by meditating and keeping it in the right state of mind. Keeping yourself in the right state of mind rather than allowing the stress to bubble over in many different ways. And maybe being in a good mood because the stress didn't get to you that day, or maybe being in a bad mood because the stress did get to you that day. You have order and structure that helps you regulate these emotions and keep yourself in line. Right? But you have to be the one that teaches yourself these things. You have to be the one that researches into them and finds what works best for you. Because I promise you, this modern society is going to teach you the exact opposite. It's going to teach you to go and use some sort of external situation to regulate yourself, such as medication. Right? Now, everybody's situation is different. Everybody has to attack their problem in different ways. Right? But most of the time, our issues come from our own lack of structure and order. Now, of course, we all have different upbringings. We all have different things we go through. So it may not be your fault that you don't have lack in order, or you don't have order and structure. But even if it isn't your fault, it's still your problem. It's still your problem to accept and figure out how to fix. All right? And if you allow that to continue on and you never do anything about it, well, that is your fault. And it is something you have to accept to be able to move past and grow from. All right? So guys, maintain order, build the structure correctly, build it on the right foundation. Don't allow your life to just be blown away and up in the air at all times. Have order and structure to help you regulate yourself and help you stay on track. It's not a one and done process. It's something you're figuring out for your whole life. But getting into that mode and working down that path will lead you to much more sustainable results than anything you do. I love you guys. Have a great day. Just go get it, man. Go get it.